So the tractate of Hagigah, the last tractate of the order of Moed, is really spins from a verse in Devarim, in Deuteronomy. Shalosh pa'amim bashana, 3 times a year, yera'eh chol sechurecha, all your males shall appear or shall be seen. Yera'eh is the passive of seeing, shall be seen. It's usually translated as appear, but it really is shall be seen. Et pnei Adonai Elohecha, before the Lord your God, b'makom asher yivchar, in the place that he will choose. So males have to appear. They have to go there. They have to be seen. And it's not anywhere. It's in the place that he will choose. And what are these 3 festivals? On the feast of Matzot, on the feast of Shavuot, on the feast of Sukkot, and they shall not be seen before the Lord empty-handed. So there's some mitzvah that with apologists for the gendered nature of the this pasuk, but of course this genderization will flow right through the Masechet. And I might mention in general that rabbinic mitzvot are not gendered. So Mikram Megillah, reading the Megillah, Hadlakat Ner Chanukah, lighting the Chanukah lights, all these apply equally to men and women. Public Torah reading, seems to apply equally to men and to women. But mitzvot applicable to the temple somehow seem to apply they seem to be they're very male. Yeah, Kohanim are men, and the males are commanded to appear, and they can't appear empty-handed. And Rashi comments there, and Rashi's is distilling the Gemara. They shall not be seen before the Lord empty-handed, but they bring burnt offerings. And there are 2 burnt offerings they need to bring. Rashi says, Olot ra'iyah v'shalmei Hagigah, burnt offerings of seeing. Olot ra'iyah. So there's an olah, there's an offering which is going to be wholly burnt on the altar, and that's to do with seeing. V'shalmei Hagigah. Shlamim are peace offerings, and they're partly burnt and partly eaten by the Kohanim. Peace offerings of the festival. And this requirement to bring the peace offerings to the festival is hinted at in another verse. This time, the verse in Devarim was from the Parsha of Re'eh, right at the end of Re'eh, and now in Kitisa, Shalosh Regalim Tachogli Bashana, 3 festivals. And the word for festival here is Rega. It's the same word as foot. Some people translate them as foot festivals. 3 foot festivals, Tahog Li Bashana. You shall celebrate for me every year. And something about the celebration is bringing the Shalmei Hagigah, the peace offerings of the festival. And there's a Midrash Tanaim on that verse, which focuses on the word Zechurecha. Let's go back to the verse. Shalosh pa'amim bashana yera'eh kol Zechurecha. 3 times a year all your males shall be seen. And the Midrash Tanaim comments there, Zechurecha lehotzi et hanashim vetumtum ve'androgonos shehen safek isha. All your males excludes women and people of unknown gender and hermaphrodites. Shehen safek isha, they may be women. Uchshomer kol zechurecha, when it says all your males, lerabot haktanim. All your males includes the male children, apparently, but it doesn't include women. And these ideas that are brought in the Midrash Tanaim and are brought in the verses will come out in the first couple of Mishnayot of the tractate. And now we've got these verses in our heads, we can begin to approach the Mishnah itself. And the Mishnah will begin just like the Rambam begins. Of course, it's the other way around. The Rambam is, in his unique style, of course, copies this style from the Mishnah. The Mishnah begins by articulating who is obligated, just as the Rambam does at the beginning of every introduction to every section of the Mishneh Torah. Hakol chayavim ba'riyah. Everybody is obligated in appearing or in being seen. Riyah. Everyone's the mitzvah is called riyah, in being seen, and of course this includes bringing the offerings. One of the offerings is called the riyah offering. So it's being seen, but not being seen empty-handed. Everybody's obligated in being seen. Chutz micheresh yotev katan v'tumtum v'androgonos v'nashim v'avadim she'einam meshuchrarim. Everyone's obligated except, and now we're going to have a long list, a deaf person. The Mishnah or the Gemara is going to connect the mitzvah of appearing for the 3 foot festivals to the mitzvah of appearing for hakel, to listen to the Torah being read once every 7 years. Interestingly, that mitzvah does apply to women. Absolutely applies to women. But it specifically mentions hearing. The idea is that the Jewish people should hear the Torah. And the Gemara learns in some way that if you can't hear, you're not obligated to go to Jerusalem and hear the Torah, but you're not obligated in the foot festivals either. So someone who can't hear isn't obligated to appear. Shotive katan, someone who's not of full intellect, or someone who's a minor. That, I think that's obvious. That's in common with all other mitzvot. Vetumtum ve'androgynous, someone of unknown gender or hermaphrodite. That's because this is a gendered mitzvah. It only applies to males. Ve'nashim, and women. Ve'avadim she'einam meshuchrarim, slaves who aren't freed because they're not free to appear. Hagigah, someone who's lame. Vehasuma, someone who's blind. They can't make the journey because the verse said regel. It's something that there's something about using your feet to make the journey. If you can't use your feet to make the journey, you're not obligated. Vehachole, someone who's sick. Vehazaken, umisheino yachol la'alot baraglav. Someone who's a sick person, an aged person, and someone who's unable to go up on foot. So the verse says, Shalosh regalim tahogli bashana, 3 foot festivals you shall celebrate for me. And those who are obligated are those who are able to go up on foot. What about the minor? Ezahu katan. What kind of person is a minor? And there's 2 opinions. Kol she'eino yachol lirkov al ktafav shel aviv la'alot mirushalayim lahar habayit. Divrei Beit Shammai. Beit Shammai says anyone who can't ride on his father's shoulders. So Beit Shammai are thinking about someone, maybe someone less than a couple of years old. Really, he's thinking about a tiny baby. Whoever's unable to ride on his father's shoulders and go up from Jerusalem to the Temple Mount, according to Beit Shammai. Uveit Hillel omrim, and Beit Hillel say, Kol she'eino yachol le'choz biyado shel aviv ve'alot mirushalayim l'habayit. Shenemar shalosh regalim. Beit Hillel are going to quote our verse from Kitisa, from Shmot. Whoever is unable to hold his father's hand and to go up from Jerusalem to the Temple Mount, as it is said, 3 festivals, but literally 3 feet, shalosh regalim, 3 feet. You have to be able to walk on your feet in order to be obligated to, even a child has to be able to walk on their feet in order to be obligated to appear on the foot festival. Now, what are these? Let's just, the Mishnah then goes on to specify the 2 offerings that are required. So somehow the Mishnah seems to know already that there are going to be 2 offerings. There's going to be a ra'ayah and a shalem hagigah, just as Rashi told us, filleting the Gemara. But the Gemara clearly, the Mishnah already knows this. It doesn't have to spell it out. Beit Shammai omrim haraya shtei chesef v'Hagigah ma'ah kesef. Beit Shammai say the ra'aya has to be worth 2 pieces of silver, and the Hagigah 1 ma'ah of silver. Now, a ma'ah is about the cost of 2 loaves of bread. So you can see this is not very much money. This could be quite a small, this is not a very expensive animal necessarily. But for Beit Shammai, the ra'aya, which is completely burnt on the altar, has to be worth more, because hang on a second. The ra'aya is completely burnt. So God gets the ra'aya, and the Kohanim get half of the Hagigah. So Beit Shammai are saying effectively, what you bring for God has to be worth twice as much as what you bring for the Kohen. That's effectively what Beit Shammai are saying. And Beit Hillel have the opposite view. Beit Hillel omrim hara'aya ma'ah chesef v'Hagigah shtei kesef. Beit Hillel say the ra'aya is worth 1 ma'ah silver, and the Hagigah 2 pieces of silver. And I think the reasoning of Beit Hillel is that Hagigah is going to be split. It's going to be, half of it is going to be burnt on the altar, and half is going to be given to the Kohanim. And the amounts of money we're talking about here are quite small. Remember, we said a ma'ah is the price of 2 loaves. So it's a tiny price. And I think what Beit Hillel is saying is, look, there's some minimal value of any sacrifice you bring. But if you're going to split it in 2, if you're going to give half to God and half to the Kohanim, you have to start off with twice that minimal sum.